Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Godsolid's Turnbuckle. And it's time once again for some more predictions here on the channel. And this time around is going to be for a new AEW pay per view, which is going to be called WrestleDream. And honestly, this card looks really good. They do have a total of 12 matches, though I'm not going to focus on the 0 hour matches, which is going to be Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, and then also you have the Acclaimed going up against TMKD, New Japan Pro Wrestling, with the trios titles on the line. We're going to just be focusing on the main card ones, and actually the first match I'm going to go with here is going to be Ricky Starks going up against Wheeler Yuta. This was kind of set up right after the Ricky Starks Bryan Danielson Texas Death Match from Collision to kind of continue on that story, because I feel like you're going to see a little bit more of Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson down the line to go along with this. This just helps continue on with that with Wheeler Yuta in there. Honestly, in this particular case, you have not seen Ricky Starks getting a lot of wins recently. So I feel like a match here with Wheeler Yuta is a good opportunity to do that. And that's probably going to be the route that they're going to go with. So I'm going to go with Ricky Starks picking up the victory in this match. And up next, we're going to have a fatal 4-way tag team match. And actually, the winners of this match will get a future AEW tag team championship match. It is going to be the Young Bucks going up against the Guns, going up against the Lucha Brothers, going up against Orange Cassidy and Hook. Not really much to really think about this match in terms of like setting up a story. They did do a fatal 4-way singles style on Dynamite recently for that particular side of it, but nothing too much setting up outside the fact that it's setting up another tag feud for whomever the tag champions are after the show. In the terms of everything based off of kind of what we've seen over the last week, I'm not necessarily certain on who's going to end out winning this. I have a highly unlikelihood of the Young Bucks actually picking up the victory here, especially with Nick Jackson getting a international title match coming up recently as well. So oddly enough, in this case, just based upon everything that I'm looking at and what we haven't seen too much of inside of the tag division, I'm going to go with Orange Cassidy and Hook to pick up the victory here and get a future tag title match down the line, whether that's going to end up being on a Dynamite or if it's on Full Gear or any other pay-per-view or anything like that. Hard to really say, but I'm going to go with them picking up the victory in this one, mainly because it just feels kind of out there, and honestly, it feels like it could work a little bit as a team to go along with it. And up next, it is going to be for the TBS Championship. It is going to be Chris Statlander going up against Julia Hart. For most aspects of this is kind of more of a long-term story, though it wasn't really much of a story up until like a few weeks ago, where Julia Hart has actually been on a very long winning streak and has not been pinned in over a year and a half. And oddly enough, the last person to have beaten Julia Hart was Chris Statlander. So she's been kind of racking up wins, and now she's eyeing going after Chris Statlander to get the TBS championship. And honestly, in the terms of seeing Julia Hart's progression on TV, it's actually quite good as a character and in ring to go along with everything. I do feel like in this particular case, it's probably not fully time to put a championship on Julia Hart yet, though I wouldn't be shocked if they go that route with her and having her beat Chris Statlander. But based off of how fast like things have kind of set up over the last couple of weeks, I kind of see them keeping that on Chris Statlander, and she keeps this run going with the TBS championship for quite some time. Maybe she does lose it to Julia Hart down the line or anything like that. I just don't necessarily see it happening on this particular show. And up next, it is going to be for both the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Championship and the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. It is going to be Eddie Kingston going up against Kazuchika Shibata. I hope I didn't butcher the first name there, but Shibata, honestly, this is one of those matches where it's like, Yes, I want to watch this. I'm actually looking forward to seeing this match. I'm a big fan of Eddie Kingston's, especially what he's been doing in AEW and in the Ring of Honor side of everything. Just how they've how they've set him up over the time that he's been in the company, and a match with Shibata, and it speaks for itself. At that point. Now, Shibata's Ring of Honor Pure Championship is not on the line in this match, and with the factor that Eddie Kingston just got the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship, I don't see them changing that championship here super quick. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always that possibility that Eddie Kingston is the type of a character where, a short title run makes sense, but you don't necessarily have a baby face beat him for it. You would probably have some form of a heel to beat him for it if it was going to be a short run with the Ring of Honor Championship. So I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston to win this match, though I'm really looking forward to watching this match. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. And up next, it's for the TNT Championship. It's also going to be 2 out of 3 falls. It's going to be Christian Cage going up against Darby Allin. The setup that they've had with Darby Allin and Christian Cage has been kind of going on for the last number of months. You've had Luchasaurus technically being the TNT champion, though Christian Cage was proclaiming he was the TNT champion the entire time, but now he's officially won it. I do like how Christian Cage plays it off. It's like, no, I didn't win it. I retained it when he won it in the triple threat match. Some really good stuff that I feel like that they've been doing inside of there. Oddly enough, in the terms of winning this particular match, I don't see it being Darby Allin. I know they're in the Washington, they're in Seattle, and we have 3 guys from the Washington/Seattle area on the show itself. And I feel like someone's going to end out losing. And I feel like it's going to be Darby Allin. There's a couple of particular things that probably set that up a little bit more as well for Darby Allin being the one who's going to lose. And I'm going to pick Christian Cage to win this. And just like storyline wise, it would make sense. I do think it would make sense for Darby Allin to pick up the victory here, though particular things outside of the company that he's setting up for, I don't think will have them put that title on Darby Allin at this point in time. For some people who don't know, and I just kind of heard about it myself, apparently Darby Allin is beginning training for a climb of Mount Everest in April. And he's got to go to a few different countries within time frame to start training for it. Now, there is a good possibility he could make all the shows and everything like that, but I feel like something where where he's going to be beginning to do something that's going to be outside of the company is probably going to have them sway away from putting the championship on Darby Allin. So I'm going to go with Christian Cage on this, though. I could see them still do it. I could see them still put this on Darby Allin and forgo and just play off the risk of everything with what he's doing outside the company as well. And obviously you could have a lot of different things get set up in this particular match. There's that whole potential, and I know there's a lot of rumor going around that Edge is going to be coming into AEW, everything to go along with it. And I don't know if that necessarily happens here, though. If it is to happen on a show, I would not be shocked if it happened on a pay-per-view and he came in and decided to be a heel and teams up with Christian Cage to go along with it and starts working with him again. Or maybe he hints out helping him as like, it's like, hey, good buddy from the past, everything to go along with that, here to help out, all this type of stuff. And then maybe they start a feud down the line when Edge figures out just how despicable Christian Cage has been. There's like zero redeeming factors of Christian Cage to want to try to cheer him or anything like that. I'm just predicting him to win the match. And up next is going to be a six-man tag team match. It is going to be Chris Jericho teaming up with Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi going up against Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay, and Takeshita. Basically the Don Callis family at this point in time. And it's interesting that we're getting another six-man multi-person tag team match with everything here. And honestly, it's always interesting that they bring in Kota Ibushi for these particular matches, but they never feature him on TV beforehand, outside of or like have him like in the actual arenas beforehand. They obviously did have some form of a feature with Takeshita and Don Callis going to Japan to try to find Kota Ibushi. They attacked him inside of his dojo, everything on that side. You have the aspect of Sammy Guevara basically pulling what Jericho did to Shawn Michaels back at WrestleMania 19, turning on him. And of course, Kenny Omega, who has, of course, got his beef with Will Ospreay, but also beef with just Don Callis in general. And in this particular match, I am going to go with the Don Callis family. I'm going to go with Takeshita, Guevara, and Will Ospreay to win this match. And that's mainly just to continue playing up the factor of, Kenny Omega cannot get one over on Takeshita. Can't get one over on Don Callis in any way, or any of the people that he puts in Kenny Omega's way. You could also play off the aspect maybe Guevara picks up the win over Jericho, kind of a reversal from the Grand Slam match where Jericho pinned Guevara. And you just have a lot of different aspects of where they could go with everything with this one. But I'm going to go with the Don Callis family to pick up the victory in this match. And up next, it is going to be for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. It is going to be MJF by himself without Adam Cole because he is out injured. And they will be going up against the Righteous. Now, it looks like the injury that Adam Cole got at Grand Slam when he jumped off of the rampway to try to help MJF ended up being a very serious one to go along with everything. I think a lot of people were kind of hoping that it was a very minor injury, and I do like the little thing that they did at the end of the show on Dynamite to kind of tease the fact that maybe Adam Cole's not as injured as you would think with everything, but I feel like it's definitely not necessarily a worked injury. This is one of those moments where it's actually a legit injury to go along with it. So we're not going to play the whole conspiracy theory thing or anything like that here. So it is going to be MJF going up against the Righteous. And honestly, even though it is a 2-on-1 handicap match, I am going to go with MJF to pick up the victory here because I don't feel like the next Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions will necessarily be done in this match or anything like that. I do find those tag team titles finding their way to the Kingdom at some point in time, and even maybe down to the aspect that somewhere down the line maybe Roderick Strong tries to help out MJF, or he takes the place of Adam Cole for a little while or anything like that while Adam Cole is out with his current injury, and maybe try to keep this storyline going without Adam Cole necessarily being around all that often. But I'm going to go with MJF to pick up the win here and keep the tag team titles with him and Adam Cole for the time being. Though it should be an interesting one to see how they play a handicap match off with everything here. So it should be an interesting one to go along with it. And up next is again for more tag team titles, but this time for the AEW Tag Team Championships. It's going to be FTR going up against Aussie Open. Now, this is kind of a year anniversary from their match back at Royal Quest, which unfortunately I didn't really get to see that particular match, though I've heard great things about it. So I'm kind of anticipating something really good with this particular match as well. Now, in terms of a winner here, it's kind of hard to really say because they're playing up more off of the match from a year ago. They haven't had too much of an interaction on TV themselves, at least not that from which I've seen, at least on my side. Obviously there's been some interaction, but there hasn't been too terribly much. So it does lead me to think that it's gonna be FTR that picks up the victory here, though I wouldn't be shocked if they're going to play, AEW is actually pretty good about, playing off of storylines and feuds from other companies leading into the shows themselves, and kind of intertwining them into their own. So since they have had that match and FTR won that match a year ago, now I'm actually going to go with this too. I'm going to go with Aussie Open to pick up the victory here and get the AEW tag team titles, which will eventually lead to a third match, whether it happens again at a Royal Quest or at another AEW pay-per-view or Dynamite or anything like that down the line. But I'm actually going to go with Aussie Open. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to have them pick up the victory here and get the AEW tag team titles. And up next is going to be Hangman Adam Page going up against Swerve Strickland. And oh man, this has been a good feud. This has been actually it's been something that we haven't seen much from Hangman Adam Page recently, is him being in some form of a singles feud. He's always, teaming up with the Elite or doing something like this. We haven't necessarily seen him on his own. And yes, he does have the Ring of Honor six-man tag team championships with the Young Bucks. But his feud with Swerve Strickland, oh man, this has been really good. Like, the promo work that these two have been doing together has been absolutely fantastic, and it came to the head even more on Wednesday night's Dynamite during the contract signing. And just in terms of picking a winner for this one, you could kind of go with either one, though I feel like they're finally trying to move Swerve Strickland to another level. And having him go in there with a Hangman Adam Page, one of the main baby faces of the company, everything will go, everything AEW, a former world champion in AEW as well, is a good way of going with that and having him in a good feud with him as well. And I won't say oddly enough, because I don't think it's oddly enough. I feel like like I said, they're going to move Swerve Strickland into that higher level. And by moving him into a higher level, guess what that means? He's winning this match. Yeah, I'm going to pick Swerve Strickland to go over Hangman Adam Page on this one. It's good to see Hangman in some form of a singles feud once again, and kind of doing something else and kind of just working with someone different in general, versus dealing with everything that's with an Elite feud or anything to go along with that. I do think this match is going to be really good with that one, but yes, I'm going to go Swerve Strickland, and should be a really good match. And up next is going to be what I think is the main event of the show, and honestly is a dream match for a lot of people, though I do think for some people this might not necessarily be their style match, but I'm looking forward to it completely. It is going to be Bryan Danielson going up against Zack Sabre Jr. Yes, we're finally getting the technical wrestling match between two of probably the top, if not the two best technical wrestlers in the wrestling industry in general. To go along with it, we were supposed to get this match back at Forbidden Door last year, 18 months ago. But we're getting it now, and it's finally happening. And you do have this aspect where, yes, Bryan Danielson is maybe not in like his retirement tour, but he's kind of in a winding it down tour, maybe kind of winding down his career a little bit more, and he's going after really big matches that either he wants or he feels like people want to see. And honestly, I want to see this as well. It's going to be it's obviously going to be a completely mat-based style. If you watch Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan Pro Wrestling at all, you kind of understand a little bit more what's going to be going on with this one. And honestly, I'm looking forward to this in general. Now, in terms of a winner, we haven't really had much of an interaction between Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. on TV. It's just kind of one of those, it's a dream match. here we go. It's like, there you go, type thing. And honestly, with the factor that I feel like he's still going to be feuding with Ricky Starks down the line here, and everything that's going to go on with that, I do see that Danielson's going to pick up the victory here. Though I won't be shocked if it's not the last time that we see the two of them work again, together again. Because there's a good possibility, maybe, because I think one of the things that Danielson's been wanting to do is work for New Japan in some way, shape, or form, and have a match there. I bet you're gonna have something between the two of them again over there. They can continue on with whatever, with everything, and this kind of begins their feud to go along with it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be great. I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson to pick up the victory here with this as well. And actually, that is all for AEW WrestleDream in terms of matches for predictions. If you like the video, feel free to give a thumbs up. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you so wish as well. But with that being said, I think, yeah, basically with that being said, look out for me to be on my Twitch page to do a live reaction to WrestleDream as well. We're not really bringing reviews back to the channel or anything, but I do like doing the predictions for the pay-per-views coming up. So be on the lookout next week as well for a predictions for WWE Fastlane. And with that being said, I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.